And welcome to the Ashes to Rubies live stream and podcast, where today we're wearing the same shirt.
You love it when we wear the same shirt. It's your favorite.
Mine's a different color. I'm wearing color now. It's part of my strategic weight loss plan. Yeah, I can wear color again because black was my part of my weight loss plan. So that, black is slimming. I'll just say that. That's all I got to say. There's people that understand exactly what I'm saying. Just wear black. I'm not saying anything about your color of shirt. I was just sticking to mine. So please don't be offended. It's an exciting day today.
Is it?
Yeah. Because you're going to the Costco and you're going to the business center and you're getting a load of meat. That's exciting.
What's exciting to you?
Yeah. Do you have anything exciting besides getting a load of meat? Getting a brisket? Going away for the week?
I'm going to fireworks tonight.
Oh,
which I love fireworks. I love fireworks so much.
Okay. The last 2 times I do believe that we went to fireworks. One was at Peach Island for Canada Day. That took an hour for it to go. And then it was the Luckily Me. That's not at Luckily Me. It's wherever it is. It's at the museum.
It's at a museum.
And both of those times I said to myself, and I didn't want to be an old parent, but we were way too close. Like both times there was soot in my eyes. I I needed safety glasses.
Like a whiny grandpa.
I know that the smoke was going over me. I'm like, we were too close.
I think it's usually the grandma that's whiny, or not whiny, but
literally
worried. Isn't it usually the grandma that's all concerned about the safety?
You don't think we were too close? Like I know fireworks, and there was like debris falling on my face. And
but it wasn't burning you.
No, but I think there is too close to fireworks, and I felt like we were too close. I felt uncomfortably close. I wasn't gonna move. I wanted to keep my man card. I didn't say anything, but I'm choosing to say it now on camera.
Well, you don't get to come, so you don't have to worry about being too close. Are you sad that you don't get to come?
I am sad that I can't get to come.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Family activity. I am working tonight, hosting an event.
Yes.
Yes.
Way to take one for the team. Thank you so much. Anything interesting that you want to talk about today? Anything on your mind? No, I'm ready to do a reading.
You're ready to get into it?
Yeah, I'm ready to get into it.
Let's get the day on.
Oh, is it my turn to read today?
It is your turn.
I don't even know
what
day
it is. August the 2nd.
It is August the 2nd.
Is it second, not second?
And it is unseasonably chilly in the mornings for me right now. Summer is very short in our climate, and I feel like I'm getting ripped off. But
although
that's all I'm going to say about that.
Has been 35 degrees.
I know.
Which is hot for us.
I
like 20. I could live in 20 degrees every day.
All right.
The snow is coming though.
Here we go.
August is on.
So
let's go.
So we are reading from a daily reader from Alcoholics Anonymous. And we actually see that you can actually translate that into your own context. But I think for simplicity, I'm just going to read this one.
Many of us had a solution of alcohol or drugs.
Yeah.
But we've come to knowing that alcohol is but a symptom. You relate to adrenaline. There's food addicts.
Some of us are addicted to relationships.
Yeah.
Some of us are addicted to food or shopping. We go to something as our solution to the unrest and the discontent and the chaos inside of us. So some of us go to alcohol. So we're going to read from Alcoholics Anonymous. Alcoholics Anonymous has no quarrel with medicine, psychiatry, or religion. We have great respect for the methods of each, and we are glad for any success they may have had with alcoholics. We are desirous of always of cooperating with them in every way. The more doctors, the more psychiatrists, the more ministers or priests we can get to work with us, the better we like it. We have many who take a real interest in our program, and we like many more. Am I ready to cooperate with those who take a sincere interest in me and my problem? Meditation for the day. God is always ready to pour his blessings into our hearts in generous measure. I feel like I want to insert like that there's like a difference that they're not articulating, but that there is a difference between religion and God. And so I love how this book actually separates God from the religion. God is always ready to pour his
So religion
blessing.
being doing spiritual activities
Yeah.
without God.
Organized.
Like trying to earn,
well,
trying
even
to...
if you're doing them with God, I would say religion is the spiritual activities. But yeah, often that can be done without God. I think sometimes it's done with God, but it's still the focus on the activity and the maybe an absence of like the relationship. And so we can actually separate the relationship with God and God himself from the religion, the activity part of it. God is always ready to pour his blessings into our hearts in generous measure. But like the seed sowing, the ground must be prepared before the seed can be dropped in. It is our task to prepare the soil. God's is to drop the seed. This preparation of the soil means many days of living right, choosing the right, and avoiding the wrong. As you go along, each day you are better prepared for God's planting until you reach the time of harvest. Then you share the harvest with God, the harvest of a useful and more abundant life. We celebrated yesterday 17 years of continuous sobriety for you. And I think I can just totally recognize how in the early years, there was the ground being prepared. Like, I remember the first time you told me that you were going to church. You were in a treatment program, and then you would call me once in a while because we weren't super talking at the beginning.
We weren't
really talking at the beginning, and you would call me once in a while and you would tell me things that you were learning, and then you called me one day and you were like, "Hey, I've been going to this church. Would you come and bring the kids to church with me?" And I was like, "Who are you?" And so that's one of the things that we started doing. But then later down the road, you told me, "Hey, I've been going to this group. This one's almost done. Would you come with me when it's over and let's do this alpha course?" And I was like, "Who are you?" I was kind of mad actually that you were doing stuff without me. But what I saw was you doing some things. And I think that those were preparing the ground. I don't know how the ground was being prepared outside of the activity because I could only see the activity.
I had a lot of manure. I think there was some fertile ground and you just got to till it. And I think at the beginning where it talks about us in a fellowship, we can be very one-dimensional. And so what it's saying is that there are so many spiritual tools that we have to start investing in and getting involved in, whether that's counseling, whether
investigating
that's
first,
investigating and like going into, like, we have a ministry center at LL Ministries and we have 12-step fellowship and we have other things that we've been involved in, and we're not one-dimensional. So there's this toolbox that God gives us. And I think what they said is at the very beginning is, if these resources line up with the biblical truth of God and our recovery spiritual literature through the 12 steps, then these are things that we want to incorporate. Because there's some psychiatrists, there's some pastors that would say, no, all you need is these cognitive therapy behaviorals. That's where your problem is. What we've come to see is that the problem is spiritual at nature. So I need to continue to grow in my spiritual life. And if I'm just stuck in AA, I think it's very one-dimensional. I would encourage people to get involved in an inner healing ministry, in a prayer ministry, in prayer groups, Bible studies, therapy, all of those things, like alpha group. Like, you're just going to till the ground for God's truth to come in more and more and more. And 17 years down the road, I feel like I'm just starting to get it. And I was involved in addiction services for 10 of those years. And it's like, I learned everything in these situations, and God's tilling the ground for me to actually receive the truth of his seeds. And then they sprout and grow. And they are today just still getting it. But it's like the spiritual life is just like this tip of the iceberg of like the rehab. When I went to rehab, I was like, I just thought I just had to finish this course and then I got my life back on track. But the reality is I don't get my life back on track. I lose my life. And that's the spiritual life that we're being invited into.
Well, and really, it wasn't much of a life. So
it was a horrible
please give
life.
me a new
I don't
one.
want that back.
Please give me a new one. And that's what we have. That's what we've received, is a completely new life. Like we
Mhm.
have a completely different life. And I would say I can see you're a different person. Like to say people can't change, it's not true. You're a
I think
different
you're a
person.
different person.
And I'm grateful. And I didn't make that happen, but I'm glad I got to go along the ride with
And
you.
God's never changing what we do. Like that's religious activities. We have to do these things. God's going to change our hearts, and what we're doing is going to change. Like that's your experience. That's my experience. And it's like God's going to transform our hearts so, I want to say violently, radically, that we want to do different things. Like working with others excites us. Spending our time and like earning a spiritual paycheck. Not like it just, we're rewritten inside. So I think that's part of the spiritual life, is getting involved in other things, like not having just the one thing, because we become very one-dimensional. So that in my experience, I've added like the Alpha program, LL ministry, like all of these things that I've been involved in, conferences, Band of Brothers, Trace Diaz, like these are things that
some might say you've worked your butt off.
Yeah, like it's just, I want to grow spiritually. I want God to I want to have spiritual experiences with God. And so we do these things and go to these places. We don't worship them, but we worship the God that's in them. And so it's not about the doing, it's about being in a relationship with God. And it's cool.
All right, I'm going to close with our prayer. So I pray that my way of living may be properly prepared day by day. I pray that I may strive to make myself ready for the harvest which God has planted in my heart. And I pray that for you.
And you.
Thank you for joining.
My friend Norm is going to be speaking at the LifeLab Connect meeting at noon on Zoom,
which is open to anyone. Anyone can join us at noon on Zoom.
We're going to be speaking about
Eastern,
sponsorship,
and the info's in our social.
Keep the peace, be of good behavior, and we'll see you then.